The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border? Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And we will call it Operation Aurora. That's what we're going to, in honor of the people that have suffered in Aurora at the hands of this horrible gang, Operation Aurora. We're going to throw them out so far you wouldn't believe it. But if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. 10 years. And if that doesn't work, it'll be 20 years. And if that doesn't work, I guess it's going to be the death penalty, right? The death penalty. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. Death penalty. It's time. I will rescue California and every town across America that's been invaded and conquered. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of the country, which is number one.
If you're a drug dealer, the policy is you can't be arrested except after the third time, and they're coming in from around the Bay Area to do their drugs here?
Listen, I left the DA's office 2.5 years ago when my boss lost, and I was loyal to him. And I stayed out of politics. But somebody handed me an article from the legal newspaper, which I couldn't believe. This DA, Kamala Harris, floated a plan to the police department to not prosecute drug dealers until their third arrest. Now, remember, the police were not big fans of Hallinan. The police command, hearing about this, said, this is crazy. AC Transit, BART, and Samtrans will have to add extra buses and trains to bring all the drug dealers. One said, Captain Cashman said, I believe in catch and release for trout, but not for drug dealers. And it's just what you said. Word travels on the street, so drug dealers hear about this, and they flock to San Francisco, and there's a connection between that kind of rampant drug dealing and turf wars and homicides. That's why that article troubled me so much.